Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Mark Parham. I'm an entrepreneur and property investor. And in this video, we're going to be going through a detailed review of the crash course with Samuel Leeds that I attended yesterday. Before we get into the video, if you could please subscribe, smash that bell notification, that'd be fantastic. And if you could give this video a like, that would really help me out with the algorithm. But let's head over to my studio. For those that have not watched my channel before, it is over here, next to the garage. We've got a courtesy car at the moment because the SQ7 is in the garage. Here is my studio, which I have started to set up. Very unglamorous, I'm sure you'll agree. Magic button, and boom. Look at that, it's cool. So before I get into this video, I feel like I should probably preface it with who I am and what my experience in property is, because that will give you an idea of where I'm coming from when I attended this course. So my name's Mark Parham. As I said, I've actually got 12 rental properties at the moment with a combined value of just under 3 million, with 3 of those being Southern HMOs. And they probably take up a good proportion of this 3 million, approximately I would say 1.4 million in those 3 properties alone. We've got a further sort of 9 properties which are around the Midlands and a little bit more further up north, and they're between single lets and HMOs. So I'm not a newbie when it comes to property. I haven't done some of the different strategies that Samuel's talking about. In particular, lease option agreements isn't something that I've done, so that's new to me. That's not to say that I'm not aware of it, because I am in terms of land deals. People like British Land, people like Taylor Wimpey, Persimmon, they all buy land on option. So it would be crazy to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds getting planning permission for land if you didn't know that you were going to be able to buy it for a fixed price later. So quite often what these companies do is they agree with the land seller a price, they take an option on that, and then they go for planning permission within their scheme. And by doing that, they're able to then uplift the value of the land with the proposed development. Sometimes that's split with the landowner, sometimes it's a fixed fee option, and eventually the product will be delivered if the planning goes through. If not, they simply hand the land back to the landowner. So the other thing to bear in mind is that I'm experienced in business. So I've been in business and run businesses since I was about 25. I'm now 38. So that's quite a long period of time. And I've been successful and I've failed. I've had businesses that have gone into liquidation and I've made millions on others. So it's important to know that I'm fairly well-rounded and I have a good level of experience. So I'm able to see value where other people may not. So let's get into what happened on the crash course, because I know that's what you want to know. So I attended Samuel Leeds' virtual crash course. At the moment there's COVID, we couldn't do it in person, so it was a one-day event. And the first thing to say is it's a long day. It was from 10 a.m. till about 9 p.m. It might have been a little bit later, to be honest, but it was a long day. That's not to say it felt long. Samuel has an awful lot of energy, and you are given that from him, even through a computer. I haven't really attended property training courses before, so this was new to me. And a lot of the things that we went through were fairly basic level to me, but I would feel that for somebody who's approaching property for the first time, they'd be extremely useful. We looked at things like how to do an ROI, how to work out a cash-on-cash return, how to source properties, how to package property deals. I mean, the amount of content that Samuel gave for absolutely free, I was astounded. I did not expect that at all. Now, I haven't been on any of his earlier crash courses and I haven't been on any of the ones in person, so I can only talk about my experience on this day. But my experience on this day was, for the first 3 hours, we were given an awful lot of information, and it was fantastic value. Before lunch, Samuel made his first offer, and I'm sure that you're aware that there's going to be advanced training courses that are going to be upsold, or you're going to be given the opportunity to purchase. But I didn't feel for one second that that was pressurised on me. So I felt that the offer was made, it's a more advanced program that we can provide you with contracts, we can help you become compliant. This was a deal sourcing course. There was some one-to-one mentoring. There was an awful lot of value promised, and the price was reasonable in my mind. I mean, we started off with an inflated price of 50,000. and then it was 5,000, and then suddenly it's 1,000. So look, say what you want about the inflated price, moving it down. I mean, it's not a new sales technique, but I felt it was very, very fair. And for £1,000, if you were going to receive all that content, including solicitors' letters and all this sort of stuff, I mean, that's great value for money in my book. The other thing I want to say at this point, I didn't feel bad about the fact that I didn't purchase anything. I wasn't ridiculed. I wasn't made to feel like I would be a failure if I didn't. There was no of the pressure sailing that I was potentially expecting to receive. And let me be clear, I'm not paid by Samuel Leeds or endorsed by Samuel Leeds in any way to say this. My business dealings with him have been very simple. I purchased a property off him in 2017. I did a video with him picking up the keys, and I did a follow-up video to explain how that deal went. And since 2018, when I did that, we haven't really spoken, but you know, I've been aware of his rise of success. And I've got nothing to gain by saying anything else. I just want to give you the truth. So after lunch, we went on to looking at lease options. We went on to looking at how to source property. Samuel did some live calls. He went through an app that he uses called Deal Sourcer, which he was very transparent and said that he'd bought shares in, but it looked like a very good bit of software. And I think he's pushing it because it is a very good bit of software. We then went out and did our own sourcing of properties. I called a couple of agents, worked out some ROIs. I mean, for me, pretty basic stuff. But everybody else got involved and people got to speak and people then got to pitch their ideas. We then did some sales training, which I thought was really, really good. And understanding that property is a people business and you're either selling your product or you're selling yourself. In the same way that today, the way that I'm representing myself to you is allowing you to form an opinion on me. So I am selling to you whether or not I like it, you know, it is just a fact. So I thought that was really, really good. I personally got a lot of value out of it. I thought it was a really good day. I met some really fantastic people. I spoke a couple of times myself and asked a couple of questions. I also received a lot of messages via Facebook and via Instagram. As you can imagine, there was a lot of people on the call. But it was a really, really good day. The second product pitch, I think, came around about 7 o'clock, something like that. That was for the lease option agreement boot camp, I think it was called. Again, all these prices are on their website. There's nothing that's not transparent. It's all on their website. It's, again, £1,000. It was all the contracts, all the 2-day training, mentorship. There was lots of stuff involved, really good. Again, if it only is £1,000 to get all that information and that's going to give you value, then that's fantastic. I can't see a problem with that. So I'll be honest, I came into this a little bit skeptical. I've not been to property training before. I've obviously seen a lot of stuff on the internet where people are saying that these sort of schemes are scammy and they pressure sell and there's lots of issues around it. But yesterday, that was not my experience at all. Yes, you could say that the offer is strong because the offer of being financially free for £1,000 is strong. But on the flip side, Samuel was very, very honest and said that there is no guarantee that this will work for you. I'm going to give you some information that has worked in the past, and the application of that information is very much down to you. And I think that he outlined a lot of success, and obviously there has been a lot of success around this. I myself bought a property off him, and then I back-engineered the process that he went through in order to source that property and started doing it for myself. So I essentially bought a fish and then taught myself how to fish for that fish. It may have been quicker for me in hindsight to have paid a lesser fee, because I paid £3,500 to buy that fish. It may have been quicker for me to learn how to fish for £1,000 and find my own fish. But at the time, I didn't have the time to learn. So in summary, I thought the day was fantastic. I would absolutely commend Samuel and his team for their professionalism. I can't talk about the advanced training programs. I haven't been on any of them. But in terms of what you got for free on a 12-hour call or just under a 12-hour call, that's amazing. And I think that anybody could do that course and have a really good idea of what is required to create a property business. So I've been Mark Parham. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope this has given you some valuable information of what you can expect on a property investor's crash course with Samuel Leeds. I really enjoyed my day. I hope you would give it a go and I would hope that you would enjoy it too. As I said, I didn't experience any pressure selling, but I can only speak about my experience. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, and as I've said in all my videos, until I get to 1,000 subscribers, if you want a one-to-one conversation with me, have a look in the description, my email address will be in there, pop me an email and we can have a chat. But I've been Mark Parham, I'll see you next week, and we'll be going up to see some of my properties in Northampton. In particular, the auction house will be finished. So I'll see you next week.